Hi, Candace.
Hi, Dr. White. How are you?
I'm well. How are you this morning?
Doing great, thanks. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Sure.
And can you tell us about the recent study that took place and some of the surprising results?
Sure. The ARP NIH Diet and Health Study is actually the largest study. Over 500,000 people have been studied for 25 years, and we examine the relationship between what they eat and what diseases they may get, specifically cancer, heart disease, diabetes. And what we've learned is that it's as important what you include as well as what you exclude. So we know that we should be eating more fish. We should be eating more fruits, more vegetables, more low-fat dairy, more whole grains, and more nuts. And we should be excluding all the refined sugars, all the processed foods, all the saturated fat. If we made those changes, we'd lose weight and we'd live longer.
And for many of us, losing weight is about looking better. Tell us how losing weight can help us live longer.
And looking better is important, but it's also about something deeper. We definitely want to include foods that are rich in vitamins and minerals that we know are going to prevent disease and help us live longer. I'm sure you know there's an obesity epidemic, and what we do know is that obesity leads to heart disease, it leads to diabetes, it leads to cancer. So the more that we can do to lose those pounds are going to help us live longer, have more vitality, have more energy, help us keep our smarts as we grow older. And that's really the goal of the diet, not just losing weight, but living longer and having those lives full of quality.
And your book combines the best of many popular diets. What's the best way to achieve healthy, lasting weight loss?
The best way is actually to think about diet as a noun, not as a verb. And what do I mean by that? Too often we say, I'm going to go on a diet, or I'm dieting and I need to lose 10 pounds for an upcoming wedding or perhaps a high school reunion. And really, the smartest diet is actually no diet at all. It's a diet and consumption of food that's focused on what we can live on rather than what we can go on. So again, it goes to those basic principles. A lot more fish, a lot more low-fat dairy, the whole grains. That's what's going to help us lose the weight and live longer and maintain it over time.
And it can be hard to change the way you eat, especially if you're used to eating bad food. And, it can be very difficult. I know, trying to quit sugar, it's been difficult for myself. Do you have any suggestions for somebody who may be faltering in that area?
It can be challenging, and it is about, doing small steps and moderation over time. So what I often tell people early on, maybe it's just something that you're going to do and start to eliminate soda and all beverages other than water and coffee from your diet, because we consume a lot of calories through liquids. So if we just started by eliminating everything we drink except water and coffee, we would lose weight. And then I also tell people it's about eating smaller meals more often. And sometimes that's a big change for folks. But what we know is that if we eat more often, we actually keep our insulin levels steady. And by doing that, we'll reduce the fat being deposited into our cells. So you're right, it's hard to make these changes, but it's that process over time. There's going to be ups and downs, and that's life. But it's about continuing to move forward and make those changes and arming yourself with good information. And that's what the diet book is about.
And do you have any additional tips or information you'd like to share with us?
Some other simple tips that I tell people is, and it may sound silly at first, but I tell people that they should chew gum. And the reason why is that chewing gum actually reduces some hormones that tells us that our body is full. We also know that it takes 20 to 30 minutes before our brains can register that we're full when we eat a meal. So I tell people to definitely chew their food. And then it's all about drinking water. So to get those 8 glasses of water a day, that's actually going to help us lose weight because it's going to stretch our stomachs a bit and make us feel full. So I always have water before a meal and while I'm eating a meal.
And where can we go for more information?
I always encourage folks to go to aarp.org/New American Diet. They can download a 7-day plan. They can download some of the recipes, check them out, see what they enjoy. And I think once they get started on it, they'll find this is a diet that they can maintain over time.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Whyte. We appreciate it.
Thanks for including me.
Of course, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too.